Your body wasn't designed to live in fear for months or years, yet that's exactly what cancer demands. And I think that's one of the most overlooked pieces of cancer weight loss. Most of the conversations revolve around calories, proteins, supplements, meal plans. And yes, I talk about those too. They're all important, but very few people stop to consider what constant stress and elevated cortisol are doing in the background. Welcome to the Sippable Solution Support Show. I'm Danny Cade, cancer cachexia, see, tongue twister, cancer cachexia survivor since 2015. I mean, think about what cancer asks of a person. You're dealing with a diagnosis nobody wanted, treatments that can leave you exhausted, endless appointments, scans, blood work, uncertainty, financial concerns, and the emotional weight of wondering what comes next. And somehow, in the middle of all of that, you're expected to eat normally, maintain your weight, preserve your strength, and carry on as though life just hasn't turned completely upside down. That's asking an awful lot of any human being. Our bodies weren't built to spend months or years believing they're under constant attack. Our stress response was designed for short-term emergencies. When our ancestors, for example, encountered danger, cortisol and adrenaline would rise, the threat would pass, and the body would return to balance. But cancer doesn't work that way. There isn't a switch you can flip and suddenly everything goes back to normal, or you can't just take a holiday. People end up living from scan to scan, treatment to treatment, waiting room to waiting room. And when the brain perceives danger day after day, it keeps sounding the alarm. Cortisol stays elevated. The body shifts into survival mode, and survival mode, while incredibly useful in the short term, has priorities that are very different from nourishment, rebuilding, and maintaining muscle. One of the first systems to pay the price is digestion. Blood flow gets redirected away from the digestive tract. Appetite often decreases. Digestive processes can slow right down. Food that once brought comfort or pleasure suddenly feels like work. And if that wasn't enough, elevated cortisol also contributes to muscle breakdown. So now you've got cancer itself creating inflammation and pushing the body towards wasting, treatments creating another layer of stress, and chronic fear quietly adding yet another burden. It's almost like trying to climb a hill while carrying a backpack full of rocks, and every time you make progress, somebody adds another rock to the backpack. It's no wonder so many people feel like they're losing ground despite trying so hard. It's easy to become frustrated with yourself or irritated with someone you're desperately trying to feed and, keep strong when they seem to resist every effort you're making. But looking back, I realized my body wasn't trying to betray me, it was trying to protect me. The problem was that it thought the emergency would end in a matter of minutes, not continue for months or years. That understanding changed everything because it helped me realize I needed to start working with my body instead of constantly fighting against it. That's one of the reasons I get so frustrated when people are told to just eat more. Human beings are far more complicated than that. Appetite, digestion, stress, hormones, inflammation, treatment side effects, fear, exhaustion, and muscle loss are all interacting at the same time. This isn't a walk in the park. And if nobody has ever told you this before, I want you to hear me. This isn't happening because you're weak or lazy. Your body is reacting normally to an extraordinary amount of stress. And understanding that can lift a tremendous amount of guilt from your shoulders. Because let's face it, cancer patients are already carrying enough without adding self-blame to that pile. That's one of the reasons I created my free cancer cachexia guide, because nobody should have to figure this all out by themselves, especially when they're going through it. And nobody should be left believing that there's nothing they can do while their body is simply doing its best to survive. If you'd like a copy, just drop the word fuel and I'll get it to you. Join me next week for a quick dump of information on constipation and cachexia. I promise it'll be worth the stream. Until then, get out of the problem and into the solution. And I hope everything's moving along nicely. See you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.